Cisco WebEx at naka-livestream po tayo ngayon sa official Facebook page ng DOH Bicol CHD. So allow me to acknowledge po yung mga present dito sa ating Cisco WebEx meetings. May mga kasamahan po tayo from the various rural health units and city health offices sa buong Bicol region po. So well represented po ang Albay, Camarines Sur, Camarines Norte, Catanduanes, Masbate at Sorsogon. Meron rin po tayong mga kasamahan na nanonood po sa ating Facebook live stream. Meron po tayo from Camarines Norte and from Masbate. So magandang hapon po sa lahat. Once again, this is Vax Talks, Measles. So to officially start our town hall meeting this afternoon, let us have a short moment para sa isang panalangin.
Justice and truth in all our transaction.
Protect us, Lord, from temptations. Do not let us take advantage of our position for personal gains and at the expense of others. Let us not enrich ourselves with property and money that rightfully belong to the citizens, whom we pledge to serve, and constantly remind us that honesty is still the best policy. That ill-gotten wealth cannot bring happiness in the end.
Grant us the strength to set the interest of the community above those of self, the interest of the nation above those of the community, and our fidelity to you above everything else.
Show us, Lord, how to turn our work into a ministry to our countrymen.
Lord, please bless our office and let honesty,
peace,
and respect for each other be our culture.
Alright, so ngayon naman po, para opisyal po nating simulan ang mga discussions natin ngayong hapon, it is my honor to welcome po our Medical Officer 5 at Chief ng Local Health Support Division para magbigay ng kanyang welcome remarks. Please welcome Dr. Gladys Temdam Escote.
Maraming hapon po sa Indogabos. Thank you for joining us for this crucial town hall on measles awareness and prevention. We all know measles is a highly contagious viral infection that poses significant health risks, including severe complications and even death. Despite being preventable through vaccination, recent outbreaks have underscored the importance of maintaining high immunization rates and public awareness. Our goal today is to provide you with accurate information about measles, debunk the myths, discuss the factors contributing to its resurgence, and explore effective strategies for prevention and control. We are privileged to have a panel of experts who will share their insights and answer your questions. So might as well, i-ready na po ang mga papel at mga ballpen para sa inyong mga katanungan. Your participation is vital in combating misinformation and ensuring the health and safety of our communities. Let's work together to protect ourselves and our loved ones from this preventable disease. Dahil sa bagong Pilipinas, bawat buhay ay mahalaga. Maray na hapon po sa Indugables.
Thank you very much po, Dr. Gladys. So, ayan nga po, hopefully, may mga katanungan po tayo ngayong hapon na maaari pong masagutan ng ating mga resource speakers ngayon. So, para simulan po ang ating mga discussions, para po sa ating first discussion, para po bigyan tayo ng kaalaman tungkol sa regional immunization coverage. Please welcome po ang ating National Immunization Program Nurse Coordinator ng DOH Bicol CHD, si Ma'am Marie Christine Therese S. Nolial. Magandang hapon po, Ma'am Tin.
Hello po, Ma'am Max. Good afternoon. Naririnig po ako?
Ayan, good afternoon po, Ma'am Tin. Yes po,
Loud and
loud
clear
and clear po, Ma'am.
Okay, sige. So, allow me to share po my screen. Nakikita na po, Ma'am Max.
Yes, Ma'am, kita na po.
Okay, sige. So, ito po yung presentation po ng immunization status in the Bicol region. So, first po, for the information po ng ating participants, so in the next slides po kasi we will be using the fully immunized children na word and ano po. So, we have the definition po muna para may idea po yung ating mga participants, ano po yung FIC na tina-target po natin for the National Immunization Program. So, ang immunization po, ang percentage ng FIC na target po natin for the year is, yun dito po, 95% sa annual, and then quarterly po, we have 24%, and then monthly, we have 8% na target na dapat po na-achieve ng ating mga health service providers po, which is sa ating sa mga health centers, sa RHUs po. So, ano po ang fully immunized child? So, ang fully immunized child is a child who has received all of the following vaccines. So, ito po yung dapat na-receive ng isang bata para masabi po na fully immunized child siya. So, meron pong 1 dose of BCG at birth or before reaching 12 months, 3 doses ng oral polio vaccine, 3 doses of pentavalent vaccine, and then 2 doses po ng measles-containing vaccine, which is yung first dose po binibigay at 9 months and then yung second dose po at 12 months old ni baby. So, ito po yung mga vaccines dapat makompleto ni baby bago po siya mag 1 year old. So, FIC po, and then meron din po tayong CIC or completely immunized child. Yun naman po ay same po ng mga vaccines na ito, kaya lang po na-receive niya at more than 12 months. So, proceed po ako dito sa next slide. Ayan. So, for information din po ng ating participants, so, background lang po ng ating coverage for the fully immunized child and then completely immunized children po sa Bicol region. So, ito po yung ating 2024 na coverage. So, as of December 31, data po natin from the FHSIS and partial and unofficial report po. So, Bicol region po, for the fully immunized child, meron tayong 47.84%. And then, completely immunized child po na 11.12%. So, di ba po, sa first slide, nakita nyo po na dapat ang coverage natin ng FIC is 95%. So, ang Bicol region po, last 2024, nasa 47.84% lang yung ating FIC coverage. So, meron yon na ang eligible population po natin ng mga bata is nasa 148,559. So ang na fully immunized child lang natin ay 71,070. And yung na completely immunized child natin na bata ay 14,317. And ito po yung coverage din ng per province natin sa FIC and CIC. So for Albay, we have 57.06 na FIC, and then completely immunized child naman po na 9.55%. For Camarines Norte, we have 37.69, and then CIC po na 13.56. And for Camarines Sur, we have 39.48, and then CIC na 11%, and then Catanduanes po 66.62% for FIC, and then 2.97 for CIC. For Masbate Province, we have 49% na FIC, and then CIC na 11.9%. And Sorsogon, we have 54.97 for FIC, and then CIC of 14.58. And Naga City, 49.8 for FIC, and then CIC po na 11.7%. So, nakikita natin na hindi po natin nare-reach or wala tayo sa kalahati ng ating target na 95%. So, kaya po mababa ang ating mga nabakunahan na bata. Kaya sa ngayon po, ito na po yung nagkakaroon tayo ng mga outbreak ng mga vaccine preventable diseases po natin. So kaya po later on, yung mga speakers natin, they will discuss po yung importance ng ating mga vaccines, especially on measles po. So ito po yung percentage nga. So sa ngayon po, ito yung accomplishment ng Bicol region for the immunization coverage. So, Bicol region, may target po tayong population for the FIC na 148,559. Ang nabakunahan pa lang po sa buong Bicol from January to March 2025 ay 16,402, which is equivalent to 11.4%. So, kung titingnan po natin, March na po, so dapat ang accomplishment natin ay nasa 24% na para makahabol po tayo sa 95% na yearly target. So, again, wala pa din po sa kalahati. So, ito po yung breakdown ng provinces. So, for Albay, ang target population natin for to be FIC ng mga bata ay 30,159. And ang accomplishment pa lang po ay 3,867, equivalent to 12.8%. Camarines Norte, 16,163 na target population, and number of FIC is 1,613, equivalent to 9.97%. Camarines Sur, 52,278 na target, and FIC pa lang po ng mga bata ay 4,772, equivalent to 9.13%. Catanduanes, target population po ay 5,886, and ang FIC po ay 789, equivalent to 13.40%. Masbate, we have 24,426, and ang accomplishment po ay 22,674, equivalent to 10.95%. And then Sorsogon po, 19,647, with number of FIC of 2,687, equivalent of 13.68%. And then Iriga City, 2,584, and number of FIC is 186, equivalent to 7.20%. And Legazpi City po, 4,800, number of FIC is 627, and equivalent to 13.06%. And Naga City po, 4,601, a target population, number of FIC ay 390. So, equivalent po siya sa 8.48%. So, sa ngayon po, since ito po yung call po natin ngayon, mababa yung ating coverage. So, for the specific na sakit po natin na ngayon, which is yung measles, mumps, and then rubella, ito po yung coverage natin sa Bicol region po. So, ang meron tayong unvaccinated. So, for MMR1, may 60,980 po tayo. And then for MMR2, 72,968. So, ang nabakunahan pa lang po for MMR1 up to ano po ito, up to ngayong March is 20,989, equivalent to 34.42%. And then for MMR2 po, 21,159, equivalent to 29%. So, yung unvaccinated target po natin, so kinuha po natin yung mga hindi nabakunahan ng 2024 and yung ngayon pong January to March 2025 na monthly target. So, yun lang po yung kinuha natin doon para for the coverage po ng ating measles, mumps, and then rubella po na antigen. So, that's all for the coverage ng ating immunization. Ayan. So, thank you very much po, Ma'am Max.
Thank you very much po kay Ma'am Christine Nolial for sharing with us yung regional immunization coverage dito sa Bicol region. So, hopefully, after po ng ating virtual town hall this afternoon ay tumaas po ang ating coverage dito sa Bicol para mas marami pong protektadong bata laban sa measles. So ngayon naman, dahil po ini-encourage natin ang mga kasamahan natin na nanonood ngayon ng ating virtual town hall on measles, alamin naman natin ngayon ang status ng supply ng vaccines dito sa Bicol region. So, if may mga katanungan po kayo mula kay para kay Ma'am Tin at sa ating mga susunod na speakers, please feel free to input your questions sa ating chat box dito sa Cisco WebEx or kaya naman sa comment section sa ating live stream sa Facebook ng DOH Bicol CHD. So, for our next discussion or for our next updates, bibigyan po tayo ng updates on the logistics and supply dito sa Bicol. So, may we call on Miss Jelly Rionwarin, ang Pharmacist 3 ng DOH Bicol CHD. Magandang hapon po, Ma'am Jelly.
Good afternoon po, Miss Max. Audio check lang po. Okay naman po ba yung audio?
Yes po, Ma'am. Loud and clear po.
Thank you very much. I-share ko lang po yung screen. Max, visible po yung screen.
Yes po, Ma'am. Visible po.
Thank you very much. And good afternoon po sa lahat ng ating participants across Bicol region. Just to provide a brief overview po of the status of the inventory of our immunization program vaccines, we will be presenting po yung ating inventory sa regional warehouse and an overview of the inventory as well ng available vaccines po sa ating mga provinces. For the stock on hand at the regional warehouse, ito po yung available vaccines natin. We still have MMR vaccine, measles, mumps, and rubella, accounting to 4,533 vials. Waiting po for reallocation of our regional program manager. We also have MR, measles, and rubella attenuated vaccines. 1,106 for reallocation of the remaining vaccines from the delivery po last October 3. And we have 8,590 vials for allocation po ito, which was previously delivered last month lang din po, last March 12. And then we have human papilloma virus vaccine. Ongoing delivery na po ito, which was previously fully allocated po by the regional program manager. And then lastly po, we have the pentavalent vaccines. Delivered po ito kanina lang with a total quantity of 79,000 po. For the status of the deliveries from March allocation po, yung mga na-deliver natin last month was pentavalent vaccine, accounting to 110,336 vials, IPV vaccine, accounting to 2,992 vials, TD vaccines accounting to 34,597 vials, BCG accounting to 5,194 vials, and then yung HPV po natin delivered last March, ongoing na po yung distribution. For Camarines Norte, Catanduanes, and Legazpi, delivered na po ito. The rest po are already scheduled po for distribution and dispatch this April and May. For the incoming deliveries po from the central office, so target date of receipt po dito sa CHD is either po next week or after the Holy Week na, we will have 9,530 vials of hepatitis B vaccines. Moving forward po to the inventory status of the different antigens sa different provinces, this is an overall stock po from the PHO down to the RHUs. For Camarines Norte po, we have a total of 8,335, Camarines Sur 7,861, Masbate 4,197, Albay 4,041, Sorsogon 2,848, and Catanduanes 628. By the way po, yung inventory presented for the provinces po was from the inventory data last March 2025. We also have pneumococcal polysaccharide vaccines, most commonly known po as PPV. For Camarines Sur, we have 6,184, Albay 3,169, Masbate 1,348, Catanduanes 870, Camarines Norte 280, and Sorsogon 151 in vials po yung quantity nito. We also have bivalent oral polio vaccine. For Camsur, we have 3,630, Albay 2,400, Sorsogon 1,461, Masbate 1,144, Camarines Norte 650, and Catanduanes 386 vials. We have pneumococcal conjugated vaccine or PCV. For Camarines Sur, we have 10,319, Sorsogon 4,458, Albay 2,252, Camarines Norte 1,900, Masbate 1,696, and Catanduanes 779. For the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccines, Camarines Sur has a total of 9,539, Albay 8,584 vials, Sorsogon 4,760, Masbate 4,392, Camarines Norte 3,674, and Catanduanes 2,298. For the hepatitis B vaccine, ito po yung medyo critical na yung stocks down to the LGU level, but we are hoping po to receive the vaccines naman by next week. The inventory po at the province level are as follows. We have Camarines Sur 843, Albay 350, Masbate 253, Camarines Norte 163, Sorsogon 97, and Catanduanes 16 vials. For the pentavalent vaccines, we have Camsur 51,770, Albay 25,045, Camarines Norte 10,502, Sorsogon 9,894, Catanduanes 7,885, and Masbate 6,018. For the inactivated polio vaccine or IPV, Camarines Sur 5,374, Albay 3,834, Camarines Norte 2,772, Masbate 2,543, Sorsogon 2,136, and Catanduanes 811. For the Bacil-Calmette-Guerin vaccines, we have Masbate 3,188, Camarines Sur 2,846, Albay 2,650, Camarines Norte 1,354, Catanduanes 567, and Sorsogon 554. For the diphtheria tetanus toxoid, we have Camarines Sur 14,617, Albay 8,026, Sorsogon 4,483, Camarines Norte 3,939, Masbate 3,700, and Catanduanes 3,080. So that's it po for the logistics update ng CHD. Over po, Ms. Max.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Jelly, for the update sa supply and logistics ng ating mga bakuna. So as you can see po, meron po tayong supply ng mga vaccines, kaya po ini-encourage po natin ng lahat ng mga may chikiting na eligible na pabakunahan na po ang kanilang mga anak para maprotektahan hindi lang po laban sa measles, kundi sa iba't ibang klase ng vaccine-preventable diseases. At sa mga kasama po natin ngayon sa WebEx at sa Facebook Live, kung mayroon po kayong mga kakilala na mga magulang na hesitant pa para pabakunahan ng kanilang mga chikiting, ito po, i-encourage po natin sila. So, para po malaman natin kung ano po ang mga aksyon o ang mga proyekto ng Department of Health sa pagsulong ng pagpapabakuna dito sa Bicol Region, alamin po natin ang guidelines ng National Immunization Program mula sa National Immunization Program Regional Medical Coordinator na si Dr. Desiree Briseño. Magandang hapon po, Dr. Desiree. Okay po, so kung may mga katanungan po kayo para kay Ma'am Jelly tungkol sa logistics and supply at kay Ma'am Tin tungkol sa ating regional immunization coverage, maaari niyo po yung ilagay sa ating chat box dito sa Cisco WebEx, pati na rin po sa ating comment section sa ating Facebook Live. So sa ngayon po, marami-rami na po tayong mga participants dito sa Cisco WebEx. We have 274 participants and 168 viewers naman po sa ating Facebook Live. So ayan, ready na po. Magandang hapon po, Dr. Briseño.
Yes, hello po. Good afternoon po, everyone. Am I loud and clear po ba?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay, thank you. Ayan. So, this afternoon, I will be sharing with you the National Immunization Program guidelines on the intensified catch-up on routine and routine immunization. Ayan. So, as previously presented nga po kanina ni Ms. Tin, nakita po natin yung decreasing trend po ng ating FIC or yung ating fully immunized child coverage, no? So, syempre kadugtong po nito ay yung mababa din na measles containing vaccine immunization coverage. So ngayon nakikita niyo po dito yung decreasing trend ng ating measles containing vaccine. So kung maaalala po natin kanina as presented ni Ms. Tin ay meron tayong 2 doses of measles containing vaccines, no? So ang first dose ay binibigay kapag bata ay 9 months old at yung second dose ay binibigay kapag ang bata ay 12 months old na or pag-birthday ng bata, no? Ayan, so makita po natin na compared to the previous year, no, 2023, bumaba po yung ating coverage no, ngayong 2024. At dahil nga po doon, no, so dito naman po, pakita po natin kung kumusta po yung mga cases po natin no, pagdating po sa measles and rubella. So from 2023 po, nagkaroon tayo ng 36 na measles rubella suspect cases. So, 2 po doon ay laboratory confirmed measles and 5 po doon ay laboratory confirmed rubella. So, meron din pong naitala na 8 clinical measles compatible cases. So, na 2024 naman po, nagkaroon po tayo ng 36 pa din. So, walang pagbabago from previous year, no? Na measles rubella suspect cases, nagkaroon ng isang laboratory confirmed measles case and 0 na laboratory confirmed for rubella, pero meron din po tayong clinical measles compatible na 6. Na yung 2025 naman po, so this is as of March 29, 2025, nagkaroon po tayo ng 15 measles rubella suspect cases, 7 na laboratory-confirmed measles cases. So this is an increase po from the previous 2 years. Nagkaroon tayo ng 7 laboratory-confirmed and meron ding isang measles compatible case. So noong 2024 din po, nagkaroon din po tayo ng 2.32 ng case fatality rate. Ayan. So ito pong mga na-present po natin, pag sinabi po natin na laboratory confirmed, ito po ay ginagawa po sa, kino-confirm sa ating RITM. Pinapadala po yung mga samples na nakokollect dun sa mga cases. Ayan. So dahil nga po dun sa pagpababang trend ng ating CV coverage and yung ating tumataas na kaso ng mga laboratory confirmed, nagkaroon po ang Department of Health Bicol CHD ng intensified routine and catch-up immunization. So the objectives are, number 1, to ensure high-quality measles and rubella immunization activity in every barangay, municipality, and city. Number 2 is to interrupt or prevent the transmission of measles and rubella viruses in all provinces by ensuring that at least 95% of infants and children aged 9 to 23 months in each barangay, municipality, or city are vaccinated with MCV. Number 3 is to maintain the desired population immunity that will prevent the occurrence of BPD outbreaks in the region through the conduct of periodic intensification of routine immunization every last month of the quarter. So this circular was released po last February 28 pa po. Yan. So these are the operational details for the intensified routine and catch-up immunization. So all children 0 to 12 months of age shall be given age-appropriate vaccines. All children 13 to 23 months of age who have not received or have incomplete vaccination shall be given the required vaccines to complete the required doses except for the BCG and hepatitis B vaccines. So ito yung sabi natin na recommended vaccines for infant immunization. So we have the BCG and hepatitis B. So both these vaccines are what we call the birth doses. Okay, so pagkapanganak pa lang ng bata, binibigyan na natin itong mga bakunang ito. And then we have the pentavalent vaccines. So this pentavalent vaccine contains DPT, or the diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus, hepatitis B, and the HIV vaccine. We also have the pneumococcal vaccines and the oral polio vaccine. So these 3 vaccines are given at 6 weeks. The first dose is at 6 weeks. Ang second dose niyan ay 10 weeks at ang third dose niyan ay 14 weeks. So meron siyang minimum interval na 28 days or 4 weeks. And then next we have the IPV or the inactivated polio vaccine. So ito po meron siyang 2 doses din. So binibigay siya yung first dose kasabay ng third dose ng OPV or 14 weeks for the first dose. And yung kanyang second dose ay at 9 months naman po. Ayan. And then of course we have the MMR or the measles containing vaccines. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na 2 doses. Yung first dose is at 9 months and the second dose is at 12 months ng bata. And so next po is the operational details for the intensified measles vaccine. So dito po, this is the immunization for the 9 to 59 months in priority provinces. So ang strategy po natin is the selective immunization of measles containing vaccine. So the age group coverage are the following. So 9 to 12 months for MMR 1 and 2, and for 13 to 23 months for catch-up with missed MMR 1 and MMR 2 dose, and for 24 to 59 months for additional dose with the MR vaccine. So bali na selected po ito. For the period of implementation naman, so actually ongoing siya, nag-map up at this time, so 1 week preparatory period ng March 3 to 7. The actual implementation is by March 10 to 21. Ayan, so bale, ang actual implementation natin is talagang mabilisan siya. So, dapat matapos siya within 2 weeks, no? So, merong map up and after action, no? So, meron tayong ongoing pa din. So, from March 24 hanggang ngayon po. And for the implementation areas naman, the priority provinces of Camarines Norte and Sorsogon shall implement yung ating non-selective MR vaccination for the 9 to 9 months. And for the remaining provinces, Albay, Camarines Sur, Catanduanes, Masbate, and Naga City, yung i-implement lang nila ay yung 9 to 23 months. Yeah, so the target is, of course, at least 95% coverage for all 0 dose and due for the second dose of MCV, and at least 90% MR coverage for the 24 to 59 months in priority provinces. Yan. So, let us see lives through collective actions for immunization, and let us leave no one behind. Yan. So that would be all po. Thank you.
Thank you very much po, Dr. Desiree, for sharing with us ang regional guidelines ng National Immunization Program. So, ayun nga po, nabanggit ni Dr. Desiree Briseño ang mga ages na eligible for the measles vaccine. Kaya po, para sa mga magulang na nakatutok po ngayon na hindi pa napabakunahan ang kanilang mga chikiting, pumunta na po sa ating pinakamalapit na health center para makareceive po ang ating mga anak ng vaccines laban sa mga sakit. Alright, so alam na po natin ang coverage dito sa Bicol Region ng Immunization Program, pati na rin po ang supply at logistics, and of course ang guidelines. Pero bakit nga ba natin kailangan protektahan ang ating mga anak laban sa measles? Ano ba itong sakit? At para bigyan po tayo ng kaalaman tungkol dito, meron po tayong kasamang eksperto na magbibigay or mag-i-explain ng tungkol sa measles. So ang ating resource speaker po na susunod ay isang fellow ng Philippine Pediatric Society since 2003 at isa rin siyang contributor sa Committee on Pedia Infectious Disease Handbook noong 2024, member ng committees ng Dengue at Adolescent Health and Teenage Pregnancy. Isa rin siyang fellow ng Pediatric Infectious Disease Society of the Philippines since 2005 at nagsilbi bilang isang board member for 3 terms. Isa rin po siyang member ng committees ng Ethics, Finance at Advocacy. In fact, lecturer po siya on immunization at contributor din po sa 3rd edition ng Handbook on Childhood Vaccination, a Practical Guide, at 2nd edition ng Rational Antibiotic Use in Pediatrics, a Study Guide and Workbook. Meron rin po siyang master's sa Business Administration in Health mula sa Ateneo Graduate School of Business noong 2011 at isa po siyang trained sa Infection Prevention and Control na inorganize po ng Philippine Hospital Infection Control Society and Center for Disease Control and Prevention noong 2001 and Singapore noong 2021. Isa po siyang part po siya ng Universal Healthcare Health Services Cluster Area 2, National Capital Region Southern Luzon ng Office of Assistant Secretary of Health. At bibigyan niya po tayo ng kaalaman tungkol sa measles at rubella. Please welcome isang Pediatric Infectious Disease Specialist, Dr. Maria Estrella B. Litam. Magandang hapon po, Dr. Litam.
Very good. Can you hear
Ayan.
me now? Ayan, ayan.
Yes po, Dr. Litam. Loud and clear po.
Magandang hapon po sa lahat ng nandito ngayon sa virtual room, no, for this town hall meeting. Can we have a show of hands? Please raise your hand sa ano tawag dito. Ilan po ang doktor dito? Or maybe Ma'am, ayan, isa from Sorsogon City, the City Health Officer. Isa lang po ba? Nurses. Okay. And the others, ayan, mas madami tayong nurses. Very good. Oh, so makikinurse na lang din po ako ngayong hapon. Chairman. Kailangan simple lang. Can you see now the slides? Nakikita na po ba natin ang slides?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay. Sige. Thank you, Sir Paul. Ako po ay napaka-techy, kaya kailangan ko po si Sir Paul. So, first, I'd like to thank DOH-CHD Bicol for this invitation sa town hall meeting ng ninyo sa usapin ng measles or TIPDAS. Narinig po natin yung report ng immunization coverage accomplishment for the first quarter, tama ba, of this year? And then narinig din po natin yung logistics and stocks status ng vaccine available. Ang tanong ngayon dito, in spite of all the efforts, making sure that we have vaccines and going out there to vaccinate, sana po at this point and kasama sa usapin ng Bicol ay tumbukin kung ano ba ang mga dahilan, Ano ang pinakadahilan na hindi nababakunahan kung ayaw man or pansamantala or matagal nang ayaw magpabakuna, ang isang pamilya or ang identified na dapat ay nabakunahan na bata sa isang pamilya. And so to answer the question, bakit mahalagang magbakuna? I'm sure na alam nating lahat na ang bakuna ay mahalaga dahil ito ay nagpoprotekta sa isang sakit. So sa lahat ng ginagawa nating kapaguran, alalahanin po natin na under the overall reason for the sipag, tiyaga, sakripisyo is para mapangalagaan ang kalusugan ng isang tao, adult, bata, matanda, buntis, or sino pa man yan. So it's not really the statistics per se, pero sana maramdaman or makita din ng mga mamamayan, yung ating target vaccinees, na meron tayong malasakit, meron tayong, kumbaga, we want them to be safe, we want them to be healthy. That being said, allow me po to go to my slides. So, measles. Meron pa bang hindi nakakita ng measles sa atin? I cannot see your reactions, unfortunately, because I shared the slides. How do I move this slide? There. Okay. So most of these slides is part of the slides we use sa Pediatric Infectious Disease Society of the Philippines, and that's why it will be the same, and then I'd like to, this is a disclaimer, I have no conflict of interest, wala po, and then all images and cases that are presented dito sa talk na to at sa slides are with written consent from parents and or the legal guardians. So it might be interesting for us, no? Kasi alam nyo na yung regional statistics ng Bicol, no? But to put things into perspective, no? This is the epidemiological global picture, no? Of the distribution of measles cases, no? By month, no? Sa WHO region from 2017 to 2025. Okay? So where's my cursor? Here. So 2017, but it's not showing in the shared screen. I'm sorry. So moving from the left of the slide going to the right, no, that's 2017 to 2025, and you will see that there is a spike, no. This is around 2018, going into 2019, and this is worldwide, no. Basically Africa, European, America, Southeast, and WIPRO, no? So, nasa WIPRO, Southeast tayo, no? Nasa Southeast Asia. So, and this spike corresponds to an increase, no, in the number of cases. And you will, if you remember, no, for those of us who remember, in 2018, nagkaroon tayo before pumasok ang COVID, tumataas ang cases ng measles, no, sa Pilipinas. Okay? So before nagkaroon ng COVID, talagang nagkakaroon na talaga tayo ng outbreaks, no, to remind everybody here in the this afternoon's town hall meeting. And worldwide, no, laganap, no. And then the question is, how is it, no? How is it that in spite of the availability of this measles vaccine, why are we seeing cases? And then if you look at the colors, no, the darker blue is about 1,000 or more number of cases, no, in over 13 countries, no, or 7% of the whole world. If you look at the Philippines, you know where the Philippines is, right? So if you look at the right side of the slide, the islands there, that is, it's almost dark, no? It's almost dark. So, but not quite. So, we can only rely on the color coding, because if you look at the country and cases, the Philippines is not reflected. In short, mataas ang kaso. And we see naman the number of cases. We are fortunate, no, to see this, no. This is from the measles outbreak, no. This is from CDC, no, .gov. Measles cases in the Philippines. So, mula talaga, and then dito nagsimula yung reporting kanina, no, nung nag-report 2021. But we know na before 2021, kasi 2019 nag-start na ang COVID sa atin, no? So yung lahat ng focus ay nasa COVID. Pero 2018 tumataas na talaga ang cases ng measles sa Pilipinas. And then, if we compare 2021 going up to the current year, no, of 2024, nagdodoble ang kaso, no? Doubled from 2021 to 2022, doubled from 586. Actually, this is not doubling. This is already 4 times increase, no, in 2023. And then now, in 2024, and we're now in 2025. So pataas po, no, ang numero ng kaso ng measles. So epidemiologically speaking, the measles outbreak in the Philippines, no, was documented, no, from 2016 to 2019, and we saw that, no, 18 to 19 nagta-transition, there was a very large spike, and the largest outbreak, no, in WHO Western Pacific region occurred in the Philippines. So Wipro tayo with reported cases increasing like I showed already. And then if you look at the other information gleaned in this report, the MCV-1 coverage, that's one dose, tama po ba? One dose of measles peaked at 92%, no, from 2004 to 2008, no? And then you might be this information, no, when you give one measles vaccine, what is the coverage or protection? The protection is 93%, no? And then, and so, pwede ka pang magkasakit. But if you are able, so ito pwede mong sabihin sa nanay, but if you are able to complete the 2 doses, the 2 doses of your measles, then the protection, ang tinatawag na effectivity, no, ng bakuna ng measles ay tumataas from 93 to 97%. However, this data shows na 92 lang po ang coverage natin for 1 dose, no? And then instead of going up, it gradually declined over the following decade, no? So 80% in 2016, and then 75% in 2018. And this logically is one of the factors why we saw a spike, no, increase in the measles cases kasi bumaba talaga yung ating coverage. Okay, let's look at this slide. This is from the Philippine Pediatric Society Registry, no, the PPS. So this is from all hospitals na merong accredited residency training po in pediatrics, no, all over the Philippines. So these training centers are required to submit data, no, on the number of cases, no, of reportable cases. So you look at this in 2018, no, this was the time that corresponds to the outbreak ng measles, no, the highest 2018 going to 2019. Tingnan niyo po, napakabata, less than 28-day-old, no, na bata. Nagkaroon tayo ng 17 cases in 2018 and then one more in 2019. Fortunately, wala po, pero ngayon for 2025, so far the data we have at the moment, no, this is as of February 20, 2025, itong slide na to. And then we also saw new neonates, no, infants, 28 days to 1-year-old, mga infant po yan. So, mas madami, no? 775, 24, 24. Ang pinakamadami ay doon under 5 years of age, no? 432 and then 1,373. And then kahit po sa 18 years old, kasi ang data po namin ay hanggang 18 years old lamang dahil ang PIRDIA po age group sa Pilipinas ay 0 to 18 years old. Hence, this is the reason why we have such data. You know, you're just looking at this table, no, and you say, ay, wala naman na, kunti na lang naman, no? Para sa isang pediatrician at lalo na sa isang pediatric infectious disease specialist at lalong-lalo na kung tayo ay nasa surveillance at tawag dito interesado, no, sa mga pangyayari. Someone is talking. Please mute your microphone. Okay na? Sige. Ngayon po, ang gusto kong maintindihan natin sa slide na to, kung less than 28 days and nagka-measles na. This is a red flag sign, no? Ibig sabihin, walang antibodies na naipasa ang nanay sa kanyang anak. Kaya at the age of less than 28 days. Baka nga yung nanay pang nagka-measles, kaya nagka-measles din yung bata. Well, we don't know, no, because this slide only shows us the age of the patient and the time and the year that this happened. So dito sa the earlier you experience measles, no, and this is in the especially in the newborn, no, and the infancy, no, meron yung tinatawag na persistent measles. Akala mo okay yung bata, pero 10 years down the line, something can happen, and I don't want to preempt the slides, no? So yun ang isipin nyo. Ang tanong ko dito, ano kaya ang nangyari sa mga bata na nagka-measles sa ganitong edad? No? Kakapanganak within 28 days and 1 year of age. Alam naman natin na may mga komplikasyon ang measles, no? So, yun ang hindi rin natin masasagot dito sa slide na to. Dahil hindi naman natin tinanong kung ano ang outcome. But if we follow this thought, no, through, ang tanong natin may bakuna naman. Sana naiwasan natin itong measles sa napaka-maagang edad na to, na pwedeng kadudulutan, no, ng pagka-hospital at mga tinatawag nating komplikasyon. So, ladies and gentlemen, makita ninyo kung bakit mahalaga na mabakunahan natin, no? Hindi lamang yung mga bata, pero ganun din yung mga taong hindi pa nababakunahan at hindi pa nagkaka-measles, no? Lalo-lalo na sa mga nanay. Okay. So, this one is the data of San Lazaro. We were able to get the data of San Lazaro. And this was also in 2018 and 2019. Napakadami, ano po? Doon nakita mo dito, 15, dito naman sa San Lazaro, ang mataas ay ang 15 to 18 years old, the blue bars, no? The bright blue bars is less than 1 year old, the light blue is 15 to 18. So it is kumbaga compatible dun sa unang slide, no? And then the 1 to 4 years old. So it is the under 5 ang pinaka madaming kaso. And then when they were confirmed or still pending results, ito po ang mahirap, no? Kasi kung hihintayin mo ang confirmation, baka patay na ang kabayo. That is why clinically, no, the measles is still diagnosed clinically, and then the confirmation is for our surveillance and our everything. But it is more important, no, to address the living patient, no, tawag dito, in a timely manner. So this slide shows that of the under 5, no, ang confirmed, no, out of 27, no, 27 sa San Lazaro, 22, so more than half, no, 27, more than half ay confirmed. Later on turned out to be confirmed measles, and 10 pending pa rin yung confirmation at the time that the data was retrieved. Okay, so makita mo dito, mas madami daw ang lalaki, pero it doesn't matter, lalaki or babae. And then, of those who had measles under 5 years of age, 18, no? So more than half had 1 dose only. 1 dose, 14, less than half. Kasi naman, no, dapat yung 14 dahil light pink, yung legend ay nasa right din. Hindi po ako gumawa ng slide. So, 14 po out of 32, no, ang had 1 dose of measles vaccine, while 18, more than half, had no measles vaccine. And therefore, it's logical na magkaka-measles po talaga itong mga bata na ito. So, individuals at risk for measles include children too young to be vaccinated. Kasi 'di ba merong age na na dapat bakunahan ng bata. Pero in the event of an outbreak, then we can vaccinate earlier, pero magkakaroon ka, kumbaga, in the final analysis, that early vaccination under 1 year of age may not be counted for the two measles doses that are required to be fully vaccinated for measles. Okay, so children too young to be vaccinated, they are at risk for measles. Children born to mothers who were not vaccinated and who have not had measles, are also at high risk. Those who have not been vaccinated for medical or other reasons, magandang pag-usapan yan. Pero yan lang ang nakuha dito sa datos report na ito ng CDC. And then those who have not received a second dose, I already said kanina, 93% ang yung protection with 1 dose, and this jumps to 97%, when you receive the 2 doses. And then of course, those for whom the vaccine failed to elicit a protective immune response. Na kunti lang naman yan, mga yan. So, ano ba ang measles? Paano mo alam kung measles ito, So, the measles, ang TIPDAS ay born out or dahil sa isang measles virus. It's a virus, It's an RNA virus of the family Paramyxoviridae. It is respiratory. It is transmitted via respiratory droplets. So, ano po to habang nagsasalita? Habang naghahatching, nagbabahin, nagsisinga. Yan. So, those are respiratory droplets po ang transmission, And then airborne. Ang airborne, naman, bumahin ka, pero nasa enclosed space, lumabas ka na, pero naiwan pa yung virus doon sa kwarto. Lalo na kung sarado ang enclosed nga So sarado ang bintana at saka pintuan. That's why ventilation and airflow is very important to maintain good healthy air inside the facilities and buildings and rooms. Ano pa yung ibang sige, measles lang tayo para hindi na tayo maano pa. So, ang measles po, meron yung tinatawag na incubation period, Yung incubation period, naglalagnat ka, wala kang ganang kumain, masama ang pangangatawan, yan tinatawag na malaise, And then walang ganang kumain, anorexia. And this can last around 10 days, plus or minus 2 days. So 8 to 12 days. That's the incubation period, high grade. And then there's a prodromal period, Ito before the rash comes out, If you are lucky, kasi you cannot always see this, You look at the right side, this is the mouth of the sa may cheeks, opposite the molar teeth, dun sa may Stenson's duct na tinatawag, ay ditong nabilugan, yan po ang itsura ng Koplik spots. These are white spots, against a red backdrop. And then, prodromal, you have cough now, you have conjunctivitis, yung red, they call it pink eye, we call it red eye, and then coryza, yung sipon, rhinitis, they call it runny nose. Runny nose po hindi running nose. Hindi po tumakbo ang ilong natin. So that's the prodromal. And then, when you see the Koplik spots, you will expect the appearance of the rash within 2 to 3 days. Okay? And that is the exanthem. So, ito po ang rashes dun sa mukha ng bata, sa torso, sa likod. It's a maculopapular rash. flat po siya, no? Na pwedeng a little raised and then pwede rin siyang magdikit-dikit, no? And then ang spread po niya mula sa mukha pababa, no? So fever ka ng fever. Pag pawala na rin yan, mawawala na rin yung fever, no? And then the infectious stage, no, is 3 days before 3 days before and up to 4 to 6 days after na magka-rash. So that is 3 days during the prodrome and then up to 6 days after na maglabas yung rash. Now the question is, how do you differentiate now a tipdas rash and a bungang aldaw? Diba? They almost look the same. That is why it's very important, no, to ask na bakunahan ho ba itong batang to ng measles, ilang doses po, kasama po yan sa ating pagtatanong. And then, tignan nyo ang panahon, mainit ba? Pinagpapawisan ba ang mga tao, mga bata, no? Because whatever rash that is, no, when, or even if you don't have a rash and it's hot and you start to perspire, ang sunod niyan ma-irritate ka and mangangati ka, okay? But generally, no, the rash of measles is not itchy. Okay, ha? Maliwanag yan. The cough may persist for 1 to 2 weeks, yung cough na yan. And then, if the fever occurs or persists beyond the 3rd to 4th day of the rash, kasi dapat pag lumabas na yung rash and then mag-extend na pababa, ang sunod niyan mag-i-improve na yung fever, mawawala na, no? And another tip, no, ang rash ng measles, kapag pawala na siya, meron siya yung tinatawag na parang madumi tingnan, and in the books they call it brownie desquamation. Brownish siya na madumi tingnan, okay? Versus the rash of dengue na wala lang, no? Pagkatapos parang walang nangyari. Yan. And then recovered. So now we go to the complications. Lahat po ng mga nagkaka-measles, meron pong risk, no? For pneumonia, which is the most common cause of death, especially if this child is under 5 years old, and even more so when this child is newborn, 28 days to 1 year of age. No, there is also the complication of yung tinatawag natin giant cell pneumonia or superimposed bacterial pneumonia on top of your viral pneumonia. No, and then of course bronchiolitis obliterans. And then ang tanong doon sa slide na yon na madaming nagkaso under 1 year of age, ilan na kaya ang nagkaluga? No? Ilan kaya ang nagkaluga? And then remember that this is the most common complication. And then this is not just luga, no? Ang effect nito, ang pwedeng maging resulta nito ay degrees of deafness, pagkabingi. Okay? Pagkabingi. And then you have also croup, you have bronchiolitis and tracheitis. Studies now show that the earlier na magkaroon ng mga ganito, mga bata, no, bronchiolitis, croup, and then syempre ang bata hindi madalas na bibigyan ng antibiotics, no? Yan na nati-trigger daw. Ito daw ang dahilan, pwedeng maging dahilan, no, ng pag-trigger ng asthma, no? Asthma. Other complications will be diarrhea, you know that, no? And that's why your management, part of the management is giving your vitamin A to prevent, especially if the child is malnourished, no? And then this now is the long-term, not long-term, this is the complication that can occur long after, no? The child had measles in his 1 year or less year of age, no? So ito po yung, it is rare but it can happen. itong subacute sclerosing panencephalitis. It is usually fatal. Ang una mong, and it affects the child 10 years down the line. 10 years down the line. Una, if may change in personality, tapos cognitive decline. No? Sa school, bumababa ang grades, no? So, ganon. Until may myoclonic jerks na siya, and then the child succumbs and dies. I don't know if I am lucky, but I would say na I am fortunate na nakakita ako ng isang kaso ng ganito, SSPE, SSPC, when I was an intern, no, at the University of the Philippines, no, at PGH. And as an intern at that time, of course, I was very what do you call this? I was trying to explain to the mother, in layman's term, what is happening and what's going to happen, hoping that the mother will understand and perhaps it's a good thing. But you know what? The mother got mad at me. Sabi mo, doktora, ganon. So hindi ma-accept ng mother that the disease of the child, this was already a teenager, a young boy, a male, no? A teenager, no? High school na siya. High school na bang 11? No? Anong grade na ba yan? Basta I think 11 or 12 years old yung bata, no? Gwapong bata, lalaki, no? But wala, comatose na siya. And then and so I said, sabi ko, nga naman, hindi niya na ma-link yung pagkakaroon niya ng measles very early on, no? Kasi 11 years old, ikilan ba siya nagka-measles? And even Koplik spot, I was fortunate to be able to see one when I was a clerk. And then I never saw a Koplik spot anymore, no? Because of the vaccinations. But now maybe if you look at the amount of your cases you see, no, lalo na kung wala pang rashes, no, baka makita po ninyo. Okay, so this one is the SSPE. So I already said, no, what I already said, and it bottom line, no, poor prognosis siya. So ano lang ang katapat nito? Magbakuna at ipaintindi na kailangan bakunahan yung bata. There are also clinical variants, no, yung tinatawag na modified measles, but it's still measles. Bakit po nangyayari ito, doktora? Kasi this may be individuals with pre-existing measles immunity, no? Alam mo na yung transfer ng antibodies from the mother, o nagkaroon ng measles, hindi naman alam na measles yun, parang ganon. Or individuals with a non-protective immunity to the vaccine, no? And then ito yung transplacental transfer, or nakatanggap ng immunoglobulin for other conditions like sa rabies, immunoglobulin, IV, IG for whatever indication, no, like Guillain-Barré perhaps, or even sepsis, no, pero hindi naman yun routine, ha. Measles vaccination resulting in antibody titers lower than those considered seroprotective. So kailan nangyayari ito? Yung isang bakuna lang siguro ang naibibigay pa. And then prior history of measles. Okay, meron din pong atypical, no? So itong sa atypical, infection among individuals na nabigyan or na-immunize using the killed virus vaccine. No? Mukhang wala naman na tayong killed virus vaccine because this was way back in the 1963, 1967, no? So, yan. But often results in a severe disease. Ang maganda dito, the individuals with atypical measles do not appear to transmit the measles virus, no, to others. Yun lang. Okay, let's go to diagnosis. So sinabi na natin mainly clinical, no? Inisa-isa natin from the prodrome to the exanthem, no? Inisa-isa po natin 'yon. So clinical diagnosis, laboratory diagnosis is helpful to confirm, no? But we do not need this to treat the patient. Okay? So basically, it's serology, no? You check for the serum IgM antibodies and serum IgG antibodies. Why do I say it's not helpful in treatment? Because if you see the IgM for Marla, joke lang, serum IgM, then that is current infection. Okay? It's IgG past infection. So, ibig lang sabihin, meron na siyang antibody, so hindi na siya current, pwedeng a month ago or something. Lalong-lalo na po ang PCR, no? It can be positive, no, up to 10 weeks, 6 to 10 weeks later. Ano? But basically, the optimal time to do a PCR, no, retrograde RT-PCR is 3 days after the rash onset. So, the rash came out now, and then up to 3 days later is the right time or is optimal time to do your RT-PCR, no? And this can be positive up to 10 days after the onset of the rash. Treatment is supportive and tawag dito for your fever, but please be very judicious when you check for give your antipyretics, no, 10 milligram per kilo per dose. Every 3 to 4 times a day, not every 4 hours, ha? Sige. And then, of course, your vitamin A supplementation. Nako, alam na po ito. Ano ang dose sa 6 months, 6 months to 11 months, and then 12 months and older. For your vitamin A, an additional dose, no, should be given 2 to 4 weeks later to those with clinical signs of vitamin A deficiency. Okay. Sabihin natin na hospital yung bata kasi severe pneumonia or whatever complications, no? O dahil sa fever niya, benign febrile convulsion dahil may history yung bata, no? So, airborne precautions, no, are indicated. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan i-isolate itong batang to sa hospital. Otherwise, baka magkalat tayo, no? Magkaroon tayo ng measles outbreak doon sa mga hindi nabakunahan sa hospital ng mga bata. So, kasama din po ito sa ating management, no? You isolate, no, 4 days after the onset of the rash, healthy children, and the duration of the illness kung immunocompromised ang pasyente. So ano tong mga immunocompromised na pasyente? Mga malnourished, of course, and then those na at the moment may mga sakit, no? Like for example, yung mga cancer or even tawag dito. Conditions, no? Condition TB na tawag dito may TB na and then malnourished pa, di ba? May mga ganyan tayong mga pasyente. So kailangan silang i-isolate. Okay, exposed susceptible patients should be placed on airborne precautions, no? So ito lang, 5 days after the first exposure until 21 days after last exposure. Grabe, no? So, kung 21 days na nandyan sa hospital, naka-isolate yan. Pero kung nasa bahay din, alam naman natin ang estado ng mga sa bahay-bahay. Kaya pwede talaga tayong magkaroon ng transmission ng measles doon sa unvaccinated or not fully vaccinated. So, I'm sure kilala nyo na to. I've shown this some time ago when I was invited again, no? And this is the childhood immunization schedule of PIDSP, PPS, and the Philippine Foundation for Vaccination. Wag ho kayong mag-alala, incorporated na po dito yung NIP, no? So itong NIP, itong green, kita po ninyo to on the left side, NIP polio, NIP MMR, MR. So incorporated na po siya. Yung first dose, second dose, no? And then yung booster, grade 1, grade 7. Okay, you can read this doon if you you want to read further more on measles vaccine, no? Okay. During outbreaks, no, the MMR vaccine should be offered to all people exposed or in the outbreak setting who lack evidence of measles immunity. So the MMR vaccine is recommended for infants 6 through 11 months of age. Doses received prior to the first birthday, ito yung sinasabi ko, do not count toward the recommended 2-dose series. So kung nagbigay ka ng isang dose before 1 year of age, kailangan mo pa siyang bigyan ng 2 doses later on na tawag dito, at least 4 weeks apart. Okay po. Okay, so ito lang po, sinishare ko lang po dito yung report namin and advisory namin sa mga pediatricians na kasamahan, no? This was February 18, 2025, advising on the increase, no, in the cases of measles, no, according to PIDSAR. Ito lang po. And then a call to intensify, no, to vaccinate, no, since it is it's highly efficacious and remain the most effective way to prevent infection. So ito din po ang aming mga tawag dito, IEC materials na sinashare din namin sa aming society and pinopost din namin sa social media. So I think this is the last slide. So and I'd like to acknowledge all of these PIDSP, primarily San Lazaro and the PIDSP board. So maraming salamat po. Ito ay picture lang po ng libro na mention, The Rational Antibiotic Use in Pediatrics and the Handbook on Childhood Vaccination. Sold out po kaagad ito nung nilabas namin nung PPS last year. So I guess this is thank you very much. So if there are any clarifications and questions po mamaya, I am still here to hope to help clear some matters. Maraming salamat po sa inyong attention.
All right, there you have it. Thank you very much po, Dr. Marla Litam, for your very insightful discussion about measles. So ayan po, ni-reiterate po ni Dr. Litam yung importance ng pagpapabakuna laban sa measles. Nabanggit niya nga po yung mga complications na maaari po nating maiwasan, lalo-lalo na po yung ating mga chikiting kung sila ay mapabakunahan. Alright, so at this point, siguro let's answer some of the questions we received sa ating chat box dito sa Cisco WebEx, as well as sa comment section ng ating Facebook Live. We have our resource persons today to answer our questions. We have, of course, Dr. Marla Litam. We also have Dr. Desiree Briseño, Ma'am Christine Nolial, and Ma'am Jelly Nuarin to answer these questions. So for the first question we received, how long does it take to show signs of measles after being exposed? So I think this is a question for Dr. Litam.
status ng vaccination. Okay. Kasi ano to, kadalasan ang isipin mo dengue. Di ba? Fever, dengue. So ngayon isipin mo na rin ang measles, lalo na kung mababa ang vaccination, no? And then after 4 days at nagfi-fever, kasi ang dengue 5 days, di ba? 5 days high grade fever ang dengue. Teka sandali, bakit nagle-lecture na ako dito ng differential? Okay, sino ba yung nagtanong na yan? Ba't mo gusto malaman? So beyond 5 days and nagfi-fever pa yan, no? Pero mukhang ang measles, they are sick looking pala. Yan ang ang tandaan natin. The child is sick looking. Matamlay. Yan. And then, so, tatanungin mo na, kumusta ang bakunahan ng batang to? Anong mga bakunang natanggap niya? Yan. Oops! Kita mo, measles. Isa lang or wala pa. Oh, ngayon, di mag-aabang ka na ngayon. So, but in a nutshell, how long after, anong question niya? Exposure? Anyway.
Yes po, Doc. Opo.
From exposure, okay. Around 8 to 12 days. Okay? Yan ang sabi ng textbook natin. Around 10 days. Kaya beyond 5 days, malamang hindi na yan dengue, no? Pero kasi halos parehas no? Walang ganang kumain, ganun din ang dengue. Pero pwede kang mag-diarrhea din sa kasi flu-like viral no? So go back to your history of immunization, guys. Tignan ninyo anong mga bakuna ng batang to. Sige, yun lang po. Huwag na natin i-complicate pa ang sitwasyon natin.
Thank you very much po, Dr. Litam. So I hope that question was answered. Na-clarify po yung nagtanong. So we have another question po for our resource persons. What if someone who is pregnant inadvertently got the MMR vaccine? Perhaps Dr. Litam can answer this as well, or Dr. Desiree.
O sinong gustong Desiree, sagutin mo na muna. Bakit mo naman babakunahan ng anti-measles yung buntis? But the question is, what will happen? So pwede bang preventive muna? Kasi live ang measles no? Mga live vaccines contraindicated yan sa buntis. Okay? So, ngayon pag nangyari yan, ay nako, edi mag-aabang ka na naman, magmo-monitor ka na naman, no? Kaya, bago tayo magbakuna at hindi na yan bata, ang kailangan mong maintindihan, isa na din kung is there a possibility na buntis yung babakunahan at babae. Okay? Sige.
Thank you very much again, Dr. Litam. So we also have a question here. Can individuals with egg allergy receive MMR? Ayan. Again, this is for Dr. Litam. Yes.
Yes. Very nice question. Pinaghandaan ko yan. Okay. Ano ba ang laman ng measles vaccine? If your allergy is to egg, it is safe. It is safe. There is no major contraindication to measles, not unless ang tinaka-contraindication you had a prior reaction, allergy to a first dose. Then, hindi ka pwede sa anti-measles sa vaccine. Okay, yun lang.
Thank you very much. Apo. I hope that question was clarified. We also have this.
Oo. Ito makakatulong ito sa atin na nagbabakuna. Fever per se is not a contraindication to vaccination. Okay? Fever. Lalo na kung low-grade fever, sinat. Not unless the patient, the child, no, if you auscultate, mukhang meron siyang RALS or WHIZ or ano tawag dito, you will differ. But it is not a permanent contraindication. Okay? You will differ. And when the patient is better, vaccinate. Maliwanag po yan, ha? Sige.
All right, thank you very much po, Doc, for that clarification. I think the next questions are for Dr. Desiree or Ma'am Tin. Um, according to the person who asked, I heard na wala na daw na vaccine yung 9 months measles alone. Can you provide po, Doc Des, clarification on this po?
Yes po, hello. Ano po ulit yun, Ma'am Max, yung tanong na?
Yes po, the question po or parang na narinig niya po, I heard na wala na vaccine yung 9 months measles alone. Any clarification po dito, Doc?
Hindi ko masyado nagets yung tanong niya, pero parang ano ba, hindi available yung vaccine or wala nang vaccine? Kasi yung ano po natin, yung um, ang talagang kailangan na natin ibigay yung measles vaccine, yung MMR specifically, at 9 months po. So, kaya na medyo confused ako dun sa tanong niya kung baka yung availability ba, yung supply ba, yung ano niya, yung question niya. But for the supply po, no, as you can see, as presented ko kanina, na kung naabutan niyo po yung presentation ni Ma'am Jelly, we have enough supply of the measles vaccine. So which is yung MMR po. For for the routine vaccination, no, for the 0 to 23 months, ang talagang ibigay po natin is the MMR or the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccines.
Siguro,
Alright, thank
Doc
you.
Desiree, oo. Maybe we can ask clarification doon sa nag-question. Ano ba kung nasagot ba natin yung
Opo.
please,
Yes.
ikaw na, Doc Desiree, ang magtanong doon sa nagtatanong. Ano po gusto niyang malaman? Pero may
Opo.
inkling ako kung ano ang gusto niyang sabihin. Pero sige, go ahead, Doc Desiree. Yung
Yes,
nagtanong po, now is your time, no, to clarify this your question para matugunan.
Opo, it's okay po, don't be afraid na magtanong, okay lang po yun. Para po mas malinawan po, no, kung ano man po yung, baka may misinformation tayong nakukuha.
Counseling, pre-marriage counseling ba? Nanaka?
Ano daw?
Sa to date, kano sa to?
Ayan, I think naka-unmute lang po yung isang participant natin.
Okay.
So, if,
I think, no, if the one who questioned is shy, siguro ang gusto niyang sabihin, this is predating you kayo mga bata kayo Pero when I was still actively practicing, no, meron pang yung yung measles alone vaccine. Measles alone vaccine. And then nagkaroon ng MMR and the MMR. No, pero na-phase out na yung measles alone vaccine. It's now in combination. Baka yun ang gustong sabihin ng nag-question, na hindi na available yung measles alone vaccine for the 9 months old.
Opo, Doc. Parang siya, siguro, kasi ngayon, ang tawag natin, kaya yung tawag po dun sa vaccine na binibigay is yung measles containing vaccine. Kasi nga before, measles only. And then nagkaroon tayo ng MR, measles rubella vaccine. And then ngayon it's the MMR na, or measles mumps and rubella vaccine. So, hindi natin alam kung yun ba yung tanong niya. Kung nasagot ba natin yung tanong. Baka pwede
nagsama-sama na kasi isipin mo naman kung meron kang measles, meron kang rubella, meron kang varicella, meron kang mumps, tatlong injection yon. Di ba? So, nagsama-sama na nila ngayon. So, yun lang po. Sige. Hope that clears that addresses the question of that shy person. Sige po.
Okay, thank you very much po, Dr. Litam and kay Dr. Desiree for answering various interpretations of the question. For our next question po, I think this is also for Dr. Desiree. Dr. Litam can also answer as well as Dr. Ma'am Tin and Ma'am Jelly. Do we have vaccines for the working force, particularly for the government workers? Dr. Des?
Yes po, no. So for the working force, or especially the ones in the for the adult, no, specifically for adult, we have yung ating influenza vaccines and pneumococcal vaccines. So the priority for these vaccines are the senior citizens and yung mga immunocompromised na mga adult. So pwede po siya. Yung ating pong influenza o yung flu vaccine na tinatawag po natin, bali nag-expand na din po yung yung coverage nito, no. So medyo binaba natin yung yung age group. So yung pinaka-latest na guidelines natin dito is na siya 18 years old and above. So pero we still have to prioritize, of course, yung mga vulnerable groups natin, and that is the senior citizens and the immunocompromised. Yun po. So yun po yung available natin na vaccines for the working population po natin.
All right. Thank you very much po for that clarification, Dr. Bresenio. So I guess those are the questions that we received this afternoon. Anyway, if you have any questions that were not addressed this afternoon, you may send us a message through our Facebook page or through our emails. So I guess that concludes po our discussions on measles. Before we proceed with our town hall meeting, siguro let's take this opportunity to have a photo op with our participants. So may I request everyone to please turn on your cameras. Kasama po natin si Dr. Desiree, ayan po, and si Dr. Litam. We also have
lumabas ako.
we have participants also
kanina,
from various
yung setup ko.
RHUs and CHOs.
Yeah, I want to see your faces kasi I will submit this as a report to my society. Show us your faces po.
Alright, so please turn on your cameras po and please prepare to show off your smiles. Maraming tabs po ito, so smile lang po tayo ng matagal-tagal. Ayan, so taking a photo of the first tab. Next. Please turn on your cameras po.
Wow, thank you for opening your cameras. Ang babata.
So well represented po ang Bicol region.
Yeah.
And meron rin po tayong participants na mukhang nagwa-watch party. Marami po silang nanonood using one account. Ayan, it's nice to see everyone po. We also have participants from national government agencies here in the Bicol region. Ayan. So here po sa WebEx, we have 277 participants. So thank you very much po for joining us today. Sa ating Facebook Live din po, we reached 176 viewers. So ayan, marami po ang nanood sa ating live stream.
More power sa Bicol region sa pagbabakuna. Kung may maitutulong ako para i-address yung mga ayaw pang magpabakuna dyan, no? I am just one call away. So maraming salamat ulit. At
Thank you, Doc.
Documentation na ito for my post report.
Alright.
Thank you po, Dr. Litam.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
So before we end our town hall meeting, allow me to share the health promotion links. We are seeking your assistance in sharing with other participants who did not join today. If you would like to encourage others to have their children vaccinated against measles and other vaccine preventable diseases, we have materials po readily available for our community, for our participants to download and reproduce. You can find our materials here by scanning the QR code flashed on screen or typing in bit.ly/HP Material Directory. We also have bit.ly/DOH On Demand 25. That is the online material and news repository of DOH Bicol CHD Health Promotion Unit. And For various risk communication materials, we have bit.ly/HP Library 2023. We are also encouraging everyone to take our survey to help the Health Promotion Unit in improving the materials that we put out to the community. Before we end our town hall meeting, may we also request our participants to fill out our customer satisfaction survey. You may scan the QR code flashed on screen or type in bit.ly/measles capital THCSS. So this will help us improve our services for future town hall virtual town hall meetings. So thank you very much. This has been Maxine Rañeses from the Health Promotion Unit. This town hall meeting was done in collaboration with the National Immunization Program and the Family Health Cluster. Thank you very much for joining Vax Talks Measles, a virtual town hall meeting on measles. Good afternoon, everyone.